Hi everyone, Matt Goldich from the Sorry I've Been So Busy podcast. No new episode this week. We're rerunning our episode from a couple years back with the hilarious Todd Barry, one of the funniest comedians out there today. And Todd has a great book called Thank You for Coming to Hattiesburg that I read cover to cover. It's kind of a travelogue about all the mid-sized cities he's performed in, and it's really, really funny. So check that out if you haven't, and listen to this episode with me, Andrew, and Todd. We're taking a little break right now, but we'll be back with a bunch of new episodes shortly. But in the meantime, please enjoy this episode with Todd, and check out all our episodes on the iTunes page or wherever you listen to podcasts. And stay busy, everybody.
Until I met my new best friend. All of my boys say I'm tripping. When they call, I'm not answering. They always get my voice.
Oh boy, Alex, are we rolling? We are rolling. Welcome to another episode, everybody, of Sorry I've Been So Busy. How are my levels? Levels are good?
Great levels.
My name is Matt Goldich, and I'm here with Andrew Goldstein.
At Ange Gold on Twitter, ANGEGOLD.
I am MATTGOLDICH. First time back at the studio for a while. This is the podcast where we talk to very busy people about what they are busy with, or not very busy people about what they're pretending to be busy
what they're
with.
fake
what they
busy
do
about.
all day.
What do you do? What are you doing there?
We have a great guest coming up this episode. Very excited to talk to him. But first, shout out to all our fans, the busybodies, people who've been leaving iTunes reviews and ratings. A lot of good feedback on the Dave Kimowitz episode.
Dude, shout out Busybody of the Week, Hillary Mankowitz, all the way in Israel.
Whoa.
Wrote on the Facebook message I put up about how excited she was to listen to the Dave Kimowitz episode. So shout out to Hillary Mankowitz.
Our Israeli bodies, the Izzy bodies.
The Izzy bodies
there
of the
we
week.
Go.
She's
I just
our
did
Izzy
that.
body
That's great.
of the week.
I'm impressed with myself.
But follow Showbiz Studios.
Yes.
On Twitter at Showbiz Studios and showbizstudios.com for all of the wonderful podcasts that are produced here in the East Village.
And big news, you're a married man.
Look at this.
This is our first podcast. Actually, our first time seeing each other since the wedding weekend. There's that finger with the ring on it.
We saw each other a lot during that weekend.
We did see a lot of each other that weekend.
You were a fantastic groomsman.
Thank you very much. It was a wonderful, really fun weekend. It was, I think I told you, for the wife and I, it was our first time sort of away from our kid together for the weekend. So it could have been a fake weekend where it wasn't even a real wedding. We probably still would have enjoyed ourselves just being away in the nice in the Hamptons. But the wedding itself was beautiful, and you guys were great. And it was just I mean, how was your experience? I mean, you must.
Well, you guys are great. You and your wife Robin. I mean, Robin is the most helpful person on earth. It's as if she was a groomsman as well.
It's like having an additional.
If she saw me like with an envelope in my hand, if somebody handed me a gift, you know. She was like right behind me, like, let me get that.
Yeah.
Like,
she's a helper.
Just the most helpful person. So shout out to Robin and you and all my groomsmen. Just tremendous. What I'll say about it is there are so many moving parts to putting a wedding together. A lot of moving parts. The band and the ceremony and the reception and the after party and the brunch and the flowers and the wardrobe and the families and the whole thing. There's so many moving parts. And with each moving part, the margin for error just multiplies. And so for us to pull off the weekend that we did that, I feel comfortable saying pretty near perfect. Like our batting average was like 900.
Well, yeah. I mean, once you sort of get past the idea that things are going to go wrong eventually, and a couple minor things, but and once you let go of that, you realize it's
exactly, and
just have fun.
Besides the weather Friday night for the rehearsal dinner, cars were getting stuck in the mud, and we were in like a
that was crazy. There was some pretty severe flooding, and we were in I guess what do you call it, a low lying area of the Hamptons. And,
we were like right on the water, and we were in a sort of what do you call it, a covered area that was sort of not.
It was blowing in the wind.
Structurally sound.
Shout out to...
But it was it held up, but it was like rocking back and forth as we were eating and giving speeches. But and then the weather miraculously cleared up on Saturday.
Cleared up for the wedding.
Cleared up for Sunday.
The ride home from the rehearsal dinner was a little dicey. I got caught behind this car that had to put its flashers on. I think it probably flooded out, and I'm kind of a panic driver anyway.
I know.
And so I'm in the car, and Robin and I are going, what do I do? I don't know. Do I go backwards? Do I go forwards? And she's like, I don't know. Just drive. You don't want to sit here. And so I just plowed through.
But it was like a BMW. I was like, I would think that would get through it. But I think
they have the new technology with the computers, and I think that's the problem. I think there's a lot of electronics in the car. That's why you're better in an old Hyundai Sonata.
There you go.
But it was great. It was a great party,
The band, and look, there obviously, if people are asking me like what was my highlight, and clearly there are so many like life highlights of seeing Jamie for the first time, and saying I do, and breaking the glass, and our families being all together, and all my favorite people being in the same room. But aside from all of those highlights, my personal highlight was I got to rap. I got to rap with the band.
Get to rap with the band,
which I know the rap verses to 4 songs from the 90s,
sure.
And they played 3 of them for me and let me graciously handed over the mic to me for my rap skills. And what's so ironic is that at your wedding, at your rehearsal dinner sort of segued into a party at the bar at the sort of venue that we were at, if you remember.
I do.
And there was a live band doing... I think there was just a live band playing.
There was just happened to be a band playing that night.
And they played Poison.
Yeah.
And they let me... That was the first time I ever got to do that sort of impromptu. I did the rap verse to Poison there at your rehearsal dinner. I don't even know if you remember that. But
I do,
I did do it. And then flash forward all these years to my wedding. I got to do the rap verse from Poison by Belle Biv DeVoe. Shout out to them. I got to do the rap verse to This Is How We Do It by Montel Jordan.
Yeah.
6'8", he stood.
Great rap verse.
And they played the theme to Fresh Prince in a medley, and they handed me the mic for that. I got to do that. The 4th one, which they did not play, Motown Philly, I would have crushed that.
Yeah. Those are good. Those are good party songs to know the rap verse from.
Well, we were very.
You don't want to be the guy rapping Stan at your own wedding.
You don't want to be talking about skeletons in your closet.
But it was a really fun party, and lots of. I guess I was going to say young people. I don't know how young we are now, but comparatively, I felt like you guys did. You invited a ton of friends, which was really fun. It made it for a great party.
There was a lot of family, believe me, there, but 230 people. But I just thought everyone was there to have a good time, and I thought what we sort of planned out facilitated everybody having a good time.
Popped my Hamptons cherry.
Hey now,
I'd never been to the Hamptons before, and I for a while I was pretty excited about to keep that streak going, see how long I could go in my life without ever setting foot in the Hamptons.
It's a good place.
But it was nice.
It gets a rap because of tabloids and celebrities and this and that. But like if you're there, sort of. Just as you are, it's a really fun
like
place.
Anything else.
So many mom and pop restaurants and establishments and stuff, and everybody's there to really do the same thing, which is just like chill the F out and get out of the city. So I love it out there.
Off season, very chill.
Yeah, tremendous. And then the one other thing I wanted to say too was, no, I don't remember, but yeah.
The afternoon of the wedding was nice. The groomsmen, we showed up early and we sort of had a couple drinks while we prepared, got ready, got dressed.
Yeah, we were all in the conference room of this art museum. Everybody getting dressed. I specially ordered Dunkaroos for everybody from Amazon Prime.
Yeah. And some expired roos.
Some expired Dunkaroos from Canada, which was super fun and nostalgic. And
it was great. I was funny because at the end of the night, so I would say we got there, in the afternoon. We were I had a couple drinks, and then maybe I had some coffee to kind of sober up for the ceremony, and then there was the ceremony, and then the party, and then the after party. And the after party, I think, if I'm correct, was from 11 to 1, and at around 12:30, I my wife had already sort of she was like, we are staying till the end of this party, and I was like, I'm really tired, I gotta go, and she was like, we're staying till the end, we have to stay. And I was like, you don't understand, I've been here since 1:30 this afternoon. I got here 3.5 hours earlier than you. I started drinking. She was like, that's a good point. Yeah, I guess she was like,
but I mean, and we had like soft pretzels and donuts and mini egg and cheeses at the after party and sliders, which we had 3 meetings with the caterer about.
And great to see, by the way. It was nice because, sometimes for me, when you're a guest at a wedding, you go and you maybe know the couple and like 1 or 2 other people.
Yeah.
But it was cool for me because I knew a ton of people at the wedding and from like different parts of my life.
You're the great connector, right? You're the connective tissue because you're a camp friend,
sure.
But you're also also a TV friend, and
right.
So you merge both of those worlds of mine.
Yeah. There were past guests at the Stuckey and Murray were there.
First of all, the podcast got so much love throughout the entire weekend. A lot of people every speech that was given, there were 4 or 5 speeches given at the rehearsal dinner.
Did your best man? Did he actually begin? Alex, are we rolling?
He did.
I think he did. He began his speech.
The best man speech started with Alex. Are we rolling?
Yeah, and I plugged the speech in my groomsman speech. I plugged the podcast, and I did say to review and rate the podcast.
Yeah.
But a lot of people were mentioning
so much
that
love
they
for the
have been
podcast.
listening. I think, it is interesting how many connections there are. Like, even like so many people that like we went to summer camp with or something where they're like, oh, I also know this person that you guys know. And it just,
well, I'm big on merging my world.
Yeah.
Like even in college, our mutual friend Josh Abrams, like he was a year older than me, and he graduated, moved back to Philly. I was at Temple with my guys, my college friends, and I brought Abrams into that crew, and then they all became better friends with each other than like, I moved to New York and they all stayed friends. So those were my college friends became friends with, my camp friend Josh Abrams just because of we were all in Philly at the same time. So like that table was super fun and they all hadn't seen each other in a while. So all that
a lot
stuff
of people I had not
fun.
seen in a while. I was excited to see and hang out with, and also big social media event, as we should not be surprised.
It's a new world with the wedding hashtag.
You got to have the wedding hashtag.
Hashtag OM Goldstein.
Yours definitely blew up. There were a couple of big names there that helped the. In fact, I was getting comments on my Instagrams that were like, "Are you at the same wedding as these people I recognize from some TV show?" And I was like, "Yeah." And I was like, "That's a weird thing to write on my Instagram, but okay."
Yeah. From her college days, Jamie is friends with. One of the people on Rich Kids of Beverly Hills, and Peter Rosenberg is my Hot 97 and ESPN and in the wrestling universe. But I was going to say about Peter being there, as I just bragged about rapping 3 songs, thinking about it, I was like, oh man, he must have been cringing. I mean, this is a guy who talks to the biggest rappers in the world.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that.
Here I am rapping to
the
Poison.
cheesiest. Yeah, that's funny. I don't know if I told you this, but Miller, the third groomsman. Oh, and Mike Weber was there, past guest.
Stuckey and Murray were there.
So we had
Kimowitz. Kimowitz was not there. He was too busy having his second child.
Just had a second child. So I go. I'm the first speech. We had pre-done the order of the speeches at the groomsmen dinner. I was first, and then
rehearsal dinner.
Yeah, rehearsal dinner. Yeah, and then Miller was third. And I had the idea. I pitched him the idea of he comes out in full wrestling costume as third, and then his first line is, "I was told we would all be dressing as different wrestlers, and I didn't know."
The Will Ferrell.
We all agreed it was the greatest idea, and he did do some cursory research into like getting the costume,
not surprised.
like whether the venue would be okay, and then he sort of did not follow.
There was a Hulk Hogan sex tape that was pitched by my friend who was our officiant.
He pitched me that
and everybody summarily killed it. Thank God.
He was the guy. Your friend who was the officiant. Our friend. He had a lot of ideas for how to spice up the ceremony. Some of them were good, and some of them were. Most thankfully, he sort of cast aside some of the more
really
ill-advised ones.
And what I'll say, he struck the perfect balance between the serious and the like, let's have a good time at this ceremony. I thought he did a great job. For somebody who's not a professional.
No, yeah, for sure.
He did an amazing job and kept it light. And the feedback we got from everybody was that they thought they've never seen a more participatory
line of the
ceremony.
night for me was when you had to read the 7 blessings, and he goes, to read the 6th blessing,
Andrew's dentist.
Yeah.
And then it was
Jesse Jackson, who we've shouted out on this podcast.
Your dentist.
The one thing I do want to say is I want to give a special thank you to I pre-wedding. I regularly listen to John Gabris's podcast, High and Mighty.
Yeah.
And a month or so back, he had a comedian couple on, and they were talking about marriage.
Yeah.
And throughout, they started talking about their wedding, and I think the groom gave like a really great piece of advice that I sort of took to heart and sort of made my mantra for the weekend, and I shared it with Jamie, and it really helped me sort of be in the moment. And the piece of advice was, at some point in the weekend, you have to stop planning your wedding, and you have to start participating in your wedding. And hearing that verbalized, it just really helped me, like, sort of, I just kept reminding myself of that and, like, just be in the moment and not worry if a glass breaks or if, the cutting of the cake wasn't like whatever it is. The little things, just let them go.
You have to enjoy it. Someone gave me similar advice before our wedding, which was like, don't spend the whole night apart from your wife. Yeah. Like, enjoy it together, and but it was great. But so shout out to John Gabris and his imaginary children.
Yeah, we don't know if he has kids.
No, he doesn't. I think we confirmed. That was an inside joke for the big listeners. Real quick, was married life any different? Well, my stock joke that I got caught at Break the Fast telling multiple times, and Jamie's sister was like, "Can you stop saying that, please?" If somebody asks me how's married life, I'm like, "It's good. A lot of thank you notes." Yeah.
That's been my stock joke. But no, I mean, it's pretty. I
got the thank you note from you before the wedding even started.
Jamie doesn't mess around.
Yeah.
She does not mess around. But look, when you live together pre-wedding, there's not much of a difference besides like, seeing the ring on your finger and that, like, really decisions are now.
Have you been wearing the ring 24/7?
Yeah.
Yeah. It took me a while. The first few weeks I would take it off to wash my hands and stuff, and then I realized, to shower, and then I realized, you don't have to. Yeah. Because I never wore any jewelry.
Yeah. Well, I was telling you before we came on the air, I had to quit biting my nails because I got Invisalign, and there's there's issues with that, and so I'm feverishly searching for a new nervous habit.
Yeah.
And what I've sort of landed on is playing with the ring.
Yeah, that's good work. Or you could be like Trump and just a lot of Tic Tacs.
A lot of Tic Tacs.
That could be the nervous
habit.
Well,
grabbing pussy.
Yeah, there you go. That could be. You could have the nervous habit.
My nervous habit is just walking up to whoever I see and grab their pussy.
We're definitely dating the podcast. Okay, we have our guest. It's very exciting. We've been trying to get this guy on for a while, and he's a great comedian, actor, super funny guy. Someone I've seen performing at the clubs around New York ever since I moved here, really, and have always looked up to. And
a New York staple.
A legend.
Yeah.
Can we say? Todd Barry is in the house.
Todd Barry, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome. And it's you're one of the first people that we thought of wanting to have on for sure when we came up with the idea. We're just like, it is funny too, because there was a period where you were like, we're getting a lot of comedians, and then because the idea is, what do people do all day? And we definitely wanted to get other people, but then and he was like, it's a lot of I hang out and then I go do shows, and he's like, we've had a few of those in a row, and then I was like, well, we got Todd Barry. He was like, absolutely, we got to have him. I was like,
I'm going to basically say the same thing.
Well, no, but you're the exception.
Coffee shop,
but we have managed to sprinkle a few other people in, but comedians are just the best guests is the problem. There's a reason why regular people aren't on podcasts, and it's because they're boring.
Because we don't know regular people.
No, we don't know them. Yeah. Do you know regular people?
I know some regular people, yeah, I guess.
Do you have friends that you see that are just hey, that guy's like a
lawyer or something?
Yeah.
I mean, I do have friends, but I guess even I have a handful of friends who are lawyers, and they're pretty much all in show business, know everyone.
I think this is the first time on the podcast we asked somebody, do you have any friends?
I know. That was the toughest part of that question, actually.
Not who are they? Do you have any? Yeah. We both have friends from before we got in it, but the longer you're in it, if your
day-to-day friends become industry people.
Yeah. It's different if you're a writer, or if you have a lot of day jobs, at least you can become friends with people who do other things but they're not necessarily all comedians. But
Right.
Yeah, but
I don't. I mean, if you held on to some friends from high school or college who weren't in the business, then.
And then there's the people who we were friends with from high school and college who ended up getting into the like Kimowitz, our previous guest, who
manager and club owner. But like, if you're every single day, like comedy, that's your profession. That's how you earn a living. That's how you pay your taxes. It's a hard schedule to have friends that are in other, 9 to 5s, right?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know where you would meet them, really.
Yeah, like, hey, Todd, you want to get dinner at 6? Be like, I can't.
I could do 6.
You could do 6. 6 would be fine.
Yeah, I could do a 6 o'clock.
I guess you could have a friend who was a waiter, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've befriended people who I just cross paths with.
Drug dealers. And
big drug dealers. I got a lot of drug dealers.
But and the other thing is, like, that came up when we were talking is, most of the time, the reason we started this podcast was because, like, I'm fascinated to find out, like, what people do all day.
Yeah.
And we, both of us feel that way. And so, like, what time do you wake up? Like, what do you actually eat? Like, what, where do you write? Like, do you write at your desk? Do you write at your computer? Do you, but, like, and so most of the time you really have no idea what people do. But it's funny because you were actually in that episode of Louie where they actually did go through your day. So you're one of the where I have, like, even if it's fictional, I'm like, okay, I have some vague idea of, like,
yeah, it's pretty fictional. I mean, it's heightened, makes me look a little more, I guess, unlikable than I.
Was
really
there
am.
anything you're like, I would never do that?
Well, I mean, I don't have like a diner I go to where if I wink at the waitress, she gives me a free donut. But, but I do enjoy free perks.
Sure.
And I get them. I tweet and get free shit and stuff.
Why shouldn't you?
You deserve it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't take the attitude, why shouldn't I? I kind of say, hey, I'm just putting it out there.
It's better to be the guy. It's better to be the person tweeting that you like something than the person tweeting that you don't like something.
Yeah, I've done. I haven't done a lot of that, hey, American Airlines.
Yeah.
Fuck me. But at the same time, I've certainly felt that because it kind of helps. Like, this is not relevant, but if you send JetBlue a direct message, they might take care of something quicker than if you wait on hold for an hour and a half.
Right.
Every once in a while, I see that show up in my timeline, like somebody who I follow is just going after having some airport mishap.
Yeah. It's one of those things where you see it and you're like, oh, don't do that. That doesn't look good. And then it happens to you and you're like, well, I bet it would really help if I tweeted at them. Yeah.
I mean, it's like you want to shame. I mean, I guess at that moment you want to shame them, but you kind of just want to, like, resolve whatever thing is going on.
Yeah. I feel it. What's that guy's day like who is at JetBlue and monitoring the Twitter feed of, like, Todd Barry?
I think that's a great job. It seems like, as far as jobs that I would never want, but at this stage of my life, but it does seem like I just imagine like a 24-year-old doing that. And it's like
problem solving.
Yeah, if you're actually helping people and getting them to the right place.
I wonder what their celebrity cutoff is. Like,
oh yeah, do you have to be verified? I think they help regular people.
Oh, I think they help regular. I mean, because some of them have
Spencer
like
Pratt had a bag missing. Do I help?
No, he's a douche. They're not gonna help it.
They no, I mean they're also like their settings are like you can direct message them even if you don't follow them. But
right.
A lot of them are.
Right. So was that Louis episode? Was that based on some sort of like actual conversation you had with him?
I feel like Greg Fitzsimmons had a conversation with me who was on that show,
right?
Like maybe on his podcast, but I don't know how Louis would have known about that. Somehow, I don't know how it came up. But it is a question I've received many times. Like, what do you do all day? Yeah. But I also feel that, I see comics and I go, I don't know what they do all day.
Right. Do you think is that particular to your personality, or is it just because that you're a comic? I
guess if I had like kids or something, people would say, "Oh, he hangs out with his kids." But
I think, yeah, that might be it. Or if you had like a regular, like, have you ever had like a regular acting gig, like where you like went to or a writing gig where you went to an office?
I've had a handful of writing gigs that are sort of not. They were sort of short-term. Like,
right.
Not because I got fired, just because they were short-term to begin with.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Like Judah, when we had him on, it sounded like when he was on 30 Rock, that really, like, organized things for him.
Right, but also blew up his his day-to-day
Yeah.
Habits and routine.
Right.
And he really had to work to like be a guy who gets up at a regular time and be somewhere and be organized.
Something about, I guess, network sitcom money will make that
I guess so. Yeah, it'll
that alarm clock not be as harsh as it might be.
That's true. Yeah.
But I think it is. I mean, I try not to say it, but it seems perfect for the show to have too much free time is almost a curse.
Yeah.
I mean, I was talking about that recently. But
I always find that because I have these I have like sort of work to-do lists and then like personal to-do lists. And sometimes the personal to-do lists pile up, and I'll just be like, oh, I'll wait till I have a week off of work, and I'll get all this stuff done. And then at the end of the week, you've got none of it done. But then if you have if you have half an hour at work, if I have half an hour, I'll be like, okay, I'm going to bang this out because I know I have like a limited amount of time to do it.
Yeah, I mean, that's sort of like sometimes it's easy to get work done on planes, I think, because you're not going anywhere, really. I mean, you're going somewhere, but you're not.
You're locked into
can't
that
go
seat.
for lunch or something. And
yeah.
But, I mean, it's not that I want, I mean, just sometimes I do crave, like, oh, man, waking up at this hour, then have, this little coffee machine there, the break room, and I don't know.
I like it. I mean, it's a different, I'm an office creature, but
But at the same time, I do like the fact that, 80% of the time I don't use 90% of the time I wake up without an alarm clock.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
guys.
No, it's, well, I mean, I guess if you include my my kid waking me up, I would say almost 100% of the time I wake up without an alarm clock.
I forgot you had a kid.
Yeah, so
are you on the earlier side or the later side of the waking up ledger?
I mean, I've never been like Keith Richards, go to bed at 9 in the morning kind of guy. Like even with my own sort of defiance about you're not going to tell me when to wake up, I still like even if I wake up like 11ish, I feel a little all right. That was pushing it a little bit,
right?
Because those times when you do have to wake up for whatever an appointment or something, and then you're like, wow, it's like I'm ahead of the game here. Like I got the whole East Village to myself.
I mean, that is the nice thing about having a kid. Well, there's two. A is like there are certain like parts of the city where like you would never want to go because they're too crowded or too gross at like the middle of the day at peak time. Like waking up at like 7:30, it's actually really nice and pleasant. They're kind of quiet and alone, But then also you just get so much stuff done by like 11. And
then you crash at
1
in the afternoon or whatever.
Yeah, or just down coffee. Did you read Keith Richards' book, by the way?
No, I was curious as how because you don't know I just wrote a book, but I'm doing the final touches on it. But the
nice.
I just because I was struggling to remember like what did I eat when I was in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania or something like that, and then it's like Keith Richards. You remember stuff from 1965 or something.
That is crazy.
But I mean,
to think of him, especially with all the drugs he's done.
I mean, obviously he had someone sitting with him to write it out for him.
Yeah.
What's the book? What's the premise?
The book is called "Thank You for Coming to Hattiesburg." It's about touring smaller market cities.
That's
like a tour diary.
That's awesome.
That's great. Do you keep a running log of every show you do? How long you do?
I don't keep a log of like December 13th really killed it. No, I don't. But I do
have a
keep
star rating.
I do keep I track of every.
Right.
Just I do have a thing that I punch, a computer thing a program. That
do you have set lists from each show? I mean, you
not
do a lot
every
of crowd
show, but
stuff,
I do sort of. I'll make a set list and then let's say I'm in Phoenix, and I'll go, all right, well, that's good for now, and then I'll just next stop on the tour, I'll just use the Phoenix set list or something.
Yeah.
But
the reason I wanted to bring it up. The reason the Keith Richards book did have a great story about how he was like recording this album, and like they would go in at 5 at night, and they would go the next night. They would go in at 6 at night, and the next night they would go in at 7 at night. And each night, they would record during the night. It would get later and later and later in the night, and then one time he was on his way to record, and it kept getting pushed later and later, and he said to the driver, he was like, what time is it? And the guy was like, it's 9 a.m. And he was like, I'm not going to work at 9 a.m. He's like, Keith Richards doesn't, and he turned around and brought the car home and started the clock over again because he didn't want to go. He didn't want to have a 9 to 5.
And that was the craziest thing Keith Richards ever did.
That was, yeah.
That's the pinnacle.
How did you come up with? How did you pick Hattiesburg? Is that?
I had a few titles going, and the concept. This book's not coming out till March, so you're gonna have to rerun this in March. But
we will.
It was just. It sort of comes from the thing of when you do a show like in Alaska. It happens a lot in Alaska where people just are like, because New York, there's no tour that's not coming through town.
Right.
Boston, Philadelphia, everyone's coming to all those cities always. But Hattiesburg, not everyone's going to Hattiesburg. So they kind of will.
Yeah.
Instead of they'll say great show or good show or funny, but they'll also just say thank you for coming here.
Yeah.
Because they just appreciate that you.
It's a good town name. A lot of hard consonants.
Yeah, I mean, I think the title might be a bit long, but it's locked in now. So.
No, I think it's good. It's not. Is it thank you for coming to Hattiesburg, and then more? Or
there's a subtitle, but but I mean that's smaller print, and it wouldn't be like I would say the whole thing. I don't know. I haven't really done press for it yet because
you just started.
Early. We can hold this for March if you want. That's fine.
Put it in the vault.
Yeah. Have you been to all 50 states? That's a real kind of a cliched question.
That's all right.
That's a great one.
I haven't done a show in all 50 states, but I knocked off a few on this last tour that I write about in the book. I knocked off Hawaii. I'd never been to Hawaii.
Mm-hmm.
I did 2 shows there. I did a show in Kansas. I'd always wanted to do a show in Kansas. And I'd also never been to Kansas. I've been to all 50 states.
Where have you not done shows?
New Mexico, Wyoming. It might just be It might be just New Mexico and Wyoming.
Wow. You've done Alaska?
Yeah, I've done Alaska a few times.
We got to get you in New Mexico and Wyoming. I'm going to Hawaii on my honeymoon in January.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice? Do you have any? Did you get time to spend some time there?
I'm certainly not. I was there for 5 days. I would just say it is pretty. It's pretty breathtaking.
I can't wait.
Meaning also boring, but no, but it's beautiful, and it's going to be hard to not have a good time there.
Yeah.
A lot of volcanoes. Did you see some volcanoes?
Yeah, I mean, it's also just this is getting a little boring, but I'm getting boring. It's just kind of like you can't believe what you're looking at.
Yeah.
Kind of like.
Does it feel like you're in America still?
I mean, on some level, yeah. I mean, except it's just like, oh, this is America, and
right. I know
no other state looks like this, as far as I know.
Not even close. Yeah.
Where's like the Todd Barrett? Where's the line of how different a place has to be from New York for you to be like, okay, fine, I'll go do the touristy things versus like I'm just going to do what I would normally do in New York in that city.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you're saying, and there is part of me that. I mean, I will Yelp coffee shops in Erie, Pennsylvania, although I don't think I've ever done a show in Erie. But in fact, I'll go to a city and I'm like, oh, where am I going to stay? Like I look up the hotel and I start Yelping by distance coffee shops within. So there is that thing, that little safe haven, which is the hipster coffee shop, which you tend to find almost everywhere now.
Yeah.
But I've never been one of those. I mean, I'm not like waking up at 7 and just with a map and stuff. But I've never been one of those. I just hang in my hotel all day.
Yeah,
because I just feel like, why are you traveling?
No, yeah, it's true.
I mean, if you're wiped out and you get into town 3 hours before the show,
yeah, I get it.
You're not going to go on a track necessarily, but
yeah,
I don't want to because I sort of like there was a quote from Bob Dylan. Someone asked him, why do you tour so much? And he goes, because you get to go to places that you don't live. Something along those lines, just real simple, but also that is what you do.
That's Nobel Prize winning. It's a Nobel Prize winning quote right there.
Nobel Prize.
That's what he wanted for.
Well, why that should be controversial is
I didn't think it was. I didn't get it till I saw people do a backlash against it, and I was like, oh, I kind of see it. It really is.
It's annoying, I guess, if you're a writer and you've written I
wrote the great American novel.
Right. Yeah. Why not praise someone who's sort of unsung than a guy who's been lauded to death? I guess is also not an author, really.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing I saw is there've been 4 or 5 Americans that have ever won, and then it's like, is Bob Dylan really one of the 4 or 5 best American writers ever? Probably not.
Hippies would tell you yes.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, but I imagine it also looks It looks a little uncouth to. I'm not an author really, but to sort of complain why is he getting it? But I could also say I could see why he would say that.
Does it open the door now?
Right.
For
Gaga and things. Yeah. I don't know.
Meatloaf.
Yeah.
It's just.
It's better than like if
Stewing
they'd
at
given
home.
it to like John Grisham or like somebody or just
Or
like,
does it? Yeah, does it
he
open
sold
that
a lot
door?
of books, and so he gets the literature. Yeah. What have you been on the road a lot recently, or have you been?
Yeah, I've been I've been on the road a bit. I was in just did like almost a week in Toronto, and I was in Montreal. I did Calgary. I did.
Oh wow!
I did a few isolated like one-offs in like Portland and Ames, Iowa. I did.
Oh wow!
And
I saw. I did a guest spot on Judah's show in DC last weekend, and audience member said they were from Calgary. He had just been riffing on Canada for a while. And he goes, "Where in Canada are you from?" The guy goes, "Calgary." He goes, "Oh, Canada, the Canada of Canada."
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, he was just like, you know, he was doing his crowd work thing. It was very fun. Yeah.
Do you have any tour travel pet peeves? Now, since obviously you're a very frequent traveler.
I have a few sort of deal breakery things, which I will make exceptions to, but like I always, if there's a nonstop flight available, I have to have the nonstop flight. Mm-hmm. And for the most part, I don't want a hotel where the doors open to the outside.
Yeah.
I.e. a motel.
Sure.
There are a few
where murders occur.
Yeah, it's just. But there are a few like sort of cool renovated hotels. Like I stayed in one in Boise that was really nice. And
You mean a motel?
It was a former Travelodge that they hit. You know,
right.
this sort of hipstered up and made it as a cool bar. There, a cool restaurant.
That's actually, it's so funny you say that because at your wedding a couple weeks ago, we stayed at one of those renovated motels. Like
in the area, there were no big box hotels, so we had to get people
like a fancy motel.
Where was this?
Hamptons.
East, Southampton.
But like, you know, it did open out on the parking lot, but then you go in and you're like, oh, this is really nice.
Yeah, I may have stayed in one of those Hamptons hotels. But
the Todd Barry Suite.
Yeah. But other pet peeves are, well, this is complainy, but I feel like this is just very inside and complainy. But
we love it.
But there's always someone supposed to pick you up at the airport quite often, and 70% of the time you get off the plane and they're nowhere to be found.
Yeah.
And that just, because I'm so anxious when I get off a plane, just like I just want to get to wherever I'm going. And to just like, oh, now I got to search for some dude, and I don't know what he looks like,
right?
And whether he knows where I am or.
Here's the question: how much are you willing to pay for an Uber out of your own pocket to not have to wait for that guy? What is the dollar amount?
I did that in Syracuse actually, where there was like a hotel shuttle. I was like, oh, this is one where sometimes they don't send someone. Sometimes you're just on your own. And it was a hotel shuttle. Like, I'll just wait for the hotel shuttle. And then like, he could be 20 minutes away, you know. So that means like it could be 40 minutes. And I said, fuck it. But then you're like, wow, I just spent $40 on a taxi.
40's a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, I can afford it, but it is also, I could afford to just wait.
I feel like the car system service with the guy in the airport with the sign, there's got to be a better way.
I think, I rarely get that, so that is the best way as far as I could see.
Right.
I mean, I've never I've thought of doing that lately. Like the last few times where I just was stressed about traveling, I go, that's the next. Because as you travel more, you kind of find ways to kick up. Like, you know, when I first started, I would take this bus to a train to go to LaGuardia Airport.
Yeah.
And then you're like, well, it's $25 to take a taxi. And it's door to door, so I'm going to start doing that. So you just kind of make things a little easier. That's how people end up in private jets, though.
Yeah, just incrementally. Yeah, that's so funny.
The train to LaGuardia it's good, but then
the best thing about New York is the times when you can hit where the cheap like during a rush hour where the cheap option is always the fastest happens to be the fastest.
Yeah,
and
that
then
feels good.
Like today, I actually got into Penn Station. And it was like, I just Google mapped it out of curiosity, and it was like quicker to take the subway than a taxi. And I was just like, done. I feel like a really smart person right now.
Because there are other times where like I've come back from JFK, and you're like, this is $70.
Yeah.
And it's twice as long.
A parking lot.
And I'm like, going out of my mind.
Why? Yeah, that's the worst. Yeah.
I agree.
What else did you want to... we can go through...
the one thing, before we get to your day, I know it's a little pandery, but you have the bit about egg salad. And, we're like a week out from Yom Kippur, where breakfast, all I ate was egg salad and tuna. And I just wanted to ask, do you really hate egg salad?
I've never even tried it.
You're just so...
I'm just so repulsed by it.
I'm right with you on that one.
Really?
I'm super grossed out.
I don't need to. I mean, the scary thing is like if I just took a bite and there is a chance I'd like it, but it's just so disgusting. It's just such a baffling. I don't want to launch into my bit, but it's
no. And I wasn't trying to set you up for the bit, but like it's just funny to me because I love egg salad.
Really? Well, you can have mine.
Do you eat hard-boiled eggs? Or?
No, I've never had one of those in my life.
Do you eat omelets? Do you eat cooked eggs?
No,
Oh, wow. So you really...
I was eating with my girlfriend the other day, and she had a poached egg on something, and I said, I'm going to be adventurous. Mm-hmm. Why don't you give me the smallest possible bite of that? Mm-hmm. And it tastes fine. I think eggs are they don't horrify me. Egg salad horrifies me.
Right.
But like raw tomatoes horrify me.
Me too.
Wow.
I agree. It's the texture and the seeds and the juices and it. Yeah, it's funny. I love egg salad and things like that. But you know me, I have so many food quirks.
Yeah.
What other ones do you have? If you don't mind sharing any.
Well, I think I used to be worse.
You get better as you get older. You're just like fuck it.
Yeah,
it becomes too much of a chore.
And being with somebody, you have to. You can't be the guy who's like.
Yeah, I'm not like. I mean, I know people where I'm like. Andrew Zimmern compared to them.
You're eating bugs.
Yeah, I mean, I know some people, I'm not going to name their names, where you're like, fuck, what?
Do you have a big one that people always call out? They're like, really? You don't like? Because, I love baked beans, but I will not eat any other bean situation. Like, people are like, well, refried beans is basically baked beans. I won't eat it.
Well, that's weird.
It's a weird, I know.
Because they do taste.
It doesn't make any sense.
Marginally different.
Yeah.
I sort of don't think I like mushrooms, but then I feel like I've had spring rolls or something where they're in there. I think it's but like I was with Sarah Silverman, name drop. We were eating in her hotel room in Chicago, and because she didn't want to go out to eat, but she also had a great hotel room. And we ordered the veggie burger, but what they didn't tell us was that their veggie burger is a whole portobello mushroom.
It's the mushroom top.
It's like you can call it that. You can say it's a portobello burger. I've been on some menus where they have that. You don't have to call it like the veggie burger and give me the illusion that it's going to be something other than that.
Yeah,
and then
that's bad.
I have to order something else.
Have we talked this before that Al Michaels has never eaten a green vegetable in his life? Did you know that?
Really?
Yeah, the sports announcer
really?
Al Michaels.
I used to be like that, but I'm much better now.
It's amazing. It does make you question everything. The fact that he's like, I've read it in an article once, he's like in his 70s. He's like going strong. The guy does like 2 games a week. He's like killing it, like still mentally sharp. It makes you think like maybe I don't need to be eating any green vegetables. I don't know.
Well, all those, I mean, he's not incredibly old, but there is always, whenever they interview like some woman they find in Russia who's 119 years old, it's like she's not like I had some whole wheat toast.
She's like, I ate cake for dinner.
She's like cake for dinner, 9 packs of cigarettes a week, and 3 shots of vodka every day.
It's funny about Al Michaels because he spent so much time with John Madden, who's like the complete opposite in terms of he ate everything on the planet.
Yeah, and you think a guy like that would be so would go to so many steakhouses, or maybe he'd have like the iceberg wedge or something.
Yeah, or like the cream spinach.
An iceberg wedge. You would think he would, but no.
The cream spinach is a steakhouse staple.
Yeah, I know, right? That's classic. We usually talk to our guests about like what a typical day in their life is like, and I don't know if you want to pick a day from this week or if you just want to go through sort of.
Maybe or on tour, like if you're in a hotel room, if that's.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like on tour, it's usually coffee shop food, maybe something a little more cultural.
So you wake up what time, like naturally?
10 or 11-ish.
Oh wow,
maybe 10-ish.
In a comfortable hotel. Do you? What about the press? Don't they make you go do local radio?
I've sort of changed the way I tour, so where I do there's minimal. I've almost 100% stopped doing comedy clubs on those terms anyway, where there's like forced press.
Yeah, where you have to
because it ruined. I just hate it so much.
It's also not super beneficial, right?
I don't. It's the thing. Like, I mean, I just did it in San Francisco, and I ended up, selling well, and got more bonuses and stuff like that. But I didn't feel like. Well, I don't know if the 10 minutes I did on the sports talk AM talk show. I mean, what could it have possibly led to?
Yeah.
Like 400 tickets sold? No, 6, maybe
400 drive time guys were listening and be like, I'm going to go to that show.
And San Francisco is a great city, and those clubs are really good. So there are people who just run you way ragged, and just now and then there's like TV now, like and you're going to do this morning zoo, and they're always staggered in a way that completely ruins your day.
Yeah,
it's never like you're doing one at 7 a.m. then you're doing one at 6 p.m. It's always like 7 a.m. then there's one at 10.
Yeah,
then there's doing TV at 3. It's like you're so jacked and amped because you drank coffee just to get through it, and then you're like, I can't even take a nap. And
A.M. Hattiesburg.
But I try to avoid that.
So you're a big coffee guy?
I am a coffee guy, but I'm not like a. I love the whole romance of coffee. Like going to like the Serious coffee shop and the pour over and the beakers and shit.
Yeah,
but I can't say that I'm an expert or like it on a sophisticated level.
I'm the same way. Yeah, I like it all, but I don't know why I like.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could trick me, and there are some times where they make it pour over, and it's like, oh, this is kind of sour. It's like, or it's got like notes of lemon, and you're like, I don't know if lemon in my coffee.
Well, the same thing with beer when it's like a blueberry wheat, and I'm like, I don't want that. Yeah. I just want a Coors Light.
So you like to go to a nicer, fancy,
like an indie coffee shop,
and you just have coffee there, or do you have?
Wow, this is getting personal.
Well, yeah.
We don't have.
What is your muffin choice, Todd?
Well, sometimes, I like a lemon poppy seed.
I love a lemon
in the muffin, but not in the coffee. Yeah.
What's that?
Lemon in the muffin, but not in the coffee.
Was that just a random example? You really like lemon poppy?
I love lemon poppy.
Can I give you a recommendation? Do you know dough donuts?
Yeah, I do.
So the lemon poppy donut.
That's weird. I saw that the other day.
Unbelievable.
Donuts are one of those things that my arbitrary health.
Muffins are allowed, but donuts.
I don't
muffins, because you go to like Au Bon Pain and you see what they have the calories of the muffin. You're like, that's 500 calories.
Yeah. Well, if you ever treat yourself and you're by a dough donut, it's one of my favorite donuts, the lemon poppy
that's
donut.
One. That sounds. I would have to really try to force myself to eat that slow because I would shove that.
Take
in my
it or leave
face.
it, Todd.
But no, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
No, I definitely would.
So coffee shop, you're just sort of coffee, maybe a scone.
Yeah,
breakfast sandwiches in the coffee shop?
No, but sometimes what I'll do is I'll rush to the coffee shop and I'll be hungry. And then I'll go, well, I have no choice but to get, pumpkin bread, which probably is like having cake.
Probably.
Yeah.
Well, pumpkin's a vegetable, so you get something there.
It's mashed up in there.
I'll shove that in my face and have the coffee. But.
And then is that breakfast?
That's breakfast. Then I find lunch, and sometimes you end up eating lunch at weird hours because...
Yeah,
so you'll be in
if you're waking up at 10, sure.
Yeah, like 3 in the afternoon, lunch, and you just you feel vulnerable. And
do you like because 3 o'clock lunch, you're typically going to be in a pretty empty restaurant. Do you like that it's empty, or do you wish there were more people around, like people watching and stuff?
It's kind of nice when you get kind of hunkered down. You're like, oh, good, I got a booth to myself, and like, not that.
Well, the egg salad's really fresh.
Exactly.
3 p.m.
But the. Yeah, I mean, you sort of have to eat alone when you're on the road.
Can you sit and eat quietly by yourself? Are you like looking at the phone?
I'm looking at the phone, and I am looking at the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am. What else is there to do?
It is. It's not that long ago that you really had to bring a magazine or a book with you if you were going to eat alone. Yeah, I was never someone who could just sit there and stare into space and eat. And I always needed something.
I can stare into space pretty good, but now that I do have this smartphone,
Yeah. There's no reason to.
Right, there's no reason to think and use your imagination.
Are you a big eater before shows? Or
that's always
no food.
That's always a
shows?
Precarious thing because sometimes I work these music venues and there'll be like a buyout. They'll give you a certain amount of cash for food money, and sometimes it'll be catered or something. And often they'll just go, "You want us to order something?" And I'm always hungry, and I always want pad thai or something.
Yeah.
And then you just know that's the type of food that you're not going to take 3 bites and sensibly put it away because it's just so flavorful.
Yes, sir.
So, but sometimes I don't. I try to be. Someone told me you should go on stage a little hungry, and that's kind of what I try to have just enough to.
Right. We had Neil Brennan on when he was here with his one-man show, and he was like, I completely would forget and just order a chicken parm and eat the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then have to go on stage.
The thing is, once you do that and you are on stage, you kind of do forget. You're not going, I've never been able to go, I'm so full.
Right. Like the Hulk Hogan sex tape.
I forgot
He
about
just
that,
ate at a Churrascaria.
Oh, my God, yeah.
I'm so full.
Yeah, Neil was saying how he had to, like, learn that new every night. Like, he would always just forget.
Remind himself.
Because also sometimes you come off stage and depending what city you're in, you're like, what are my food options? They're like, ooh.
Well, yeah, I was going to ask you post-show.
Yeah, I like to eat post-show, yeah.
You're like go to a diner, go somewhere?
It depends. I mean, it's either go to a diner or go somewhere to eat or grab something real quick.
Right. Go back to your hotel?
Yeah, I'm not a big eat in the car and I'm not a big eat in the hotel thing, but sometimes I am. And I almost never order room service.
Yeah.
Because I always think that's weird.
There's something weird about it.
I mean, alone especially.
Yeah.
But also, maybe if I was like really famous, then I would.
Have you ever ordered food from the outside into your hotel? That was like a new thing for me when
I remember
I was
in Dallas, of all places, probably didn't need to do this in Dallas, but I just this weird craving for Domino's.
Yeah.
And I just said, fuck it. And I downloaded the app, and I was like, oh, my God, this is cool. Just sat there in the lobby to my little fucking pizza.
There you go. Let's do it.
That's
Why
not a
not?
good story, right?
Yeah. What about? Are you like a red wine guy? Am I remembering that correctly?
I drink a little wine. Yeah.
Yeah. Before the show or after?
Oh no. Basically, almost never before a show. There's times where I've like had a glass of wine and then I go, oh, I'm going to do this bringer show or something, open mic or something, or someplace where I could walk on, and then I do it for 8 minutes, and it really does. Like, I couldn't imagine. I don't see how guys like do a headlining show just pounding drinks.
Right. Well,
but I guess they're different.
Again, the difference between you and Keith. Again, the difference between you and Keith Richards rears its ugly head.
He probably doesn't. Yeah. He's one of those guys. He quit the drugs, right? But then he still like drinks.
I'm sure there's.
I feel like he's drunk every. Like I feel like every interview I've heard, he's drunk.
Insane. Yeah. And then do you go to bed? Does it take you time to wind down after the show, or do you go to bed? Or?
Yeah, I always want to do something after the show, like. So I find, it's fun to go to if there's like a cool bar to go to.
Yeah.
And you just kind of like a quietish bar. I will often do that.
Yeah.
With, I guess, whoever the opening acts are, maybe the club booker, owner, if they're cool, and there's someone I can.
That's cool.
I was grabbing a drink with somebody the other day, and they were the volume of the bar was very important to this person. Like, we had to turn down like 4 or 5 places because they were too loud to have a conversation.
Yeah, that's a pet peeve of mine. But it's baffling to me why, especially like restaurants, you're like, really, you're blasting prog rock or whatever the shit is at a restaurant?
My problem was, though, that the place we ended up, if you're going to avoid volume, you're going to end up settling on a place that's probably pretty empty, and then you're like, well, it might be shitty. Like, there might be a reason why this place is empty, like if the food sucks or if it's overpriced.
Yeah, but that whole thing of like, we're making it, this is a fun restaurant. It'd be more fun if I could hear and talk.
Yeah. I
notice that when I go into like clothing stores or department stores, like that's like the most apparent way I know that I'm sort of getting a little older is like, I'm like, wow, it's super loud in here.
But I think I've always been that way.
Music down.
But also, like, you go to these industry parties sometimes, sponsored whatever, like a network or an agency, and they're like the whole thing is hijacked by a DJ. It's like if you want to have a dance floor and have some loud music, go have fun. But they're just like, so everywhere I go in this room, I'm going to be screaming because we're here to hear this music.
And then you get home and you have that, like, I've been yelling all night.
Right, and no one fucking speaks up. No one. I mean, there's times I've spoken up and sort of like you find someone who's in charge a little bit and you go, who's friendly with you. Hey, what's pretty fucking loud in here, isn't it? And sometimes but DJs are not like, oh, I love turning it down. I love when people ask me to turn my shitty music down. Oh, God, that makes me angry.
Yeah.
That's the one button they don't fuck with.
No, they don't. I do like this. Sometimes I will say that the clothing stores where I'm like, oh, this is like the first time I've heard cool new music in a long time.
It is a good place to learn about what's
like,
not.
I've never
Going to
listened to
H&M
this on my own, but I do enjoy it.
I mean, sometimes if it's a sort of at a just there's like a sweet spot of loud where it's all right. This is creating a little nice little bustle in here.
Yeah,
and it's festive, but I can still sit there and talk to someone. It's not, you know.
Yeah.
The other similar thing like that is when it gets cold out. Now if I see a girl and she's like in like very little clothes, I'm like, she needs a jacket.
You're just looking out for people.
Yeah.
That's cool, man. You care about people.
I care.
You do,
I care.
Yeah. Should we do the blow off?
Yeah, let's get to the blow off.
Is there a time recently when you've blown somebody off, or if you've used an excuse akin to "Sorry, I've been so busy"? Or
no, I'm kind of. I mean, I go back and forth on that because I feel like I even tweeted once about how I meant to tweet, or I did tweet about how, except the times I've used that excuse, saying I'm swamped is a shitty thing to say to someone. Like, yeah. But that when someone's like, I've been swamped, it's like, okay. Especially if it's someone who's less busy than you. Yeah. That's always fun. When you're like, oh yeah, I'm so busy, so I can, but I know people, and it is a frustration of mine because I, for the most part, get right back to people. There have been a handful of times I don't. It also depends, like, if you wake up and there's 4 emails or 5 emails or more than that. Yeah. They might kind of slip through the cracks. But for the most part, sometimes I get back to people in 2 seconds. Like, an email comes through and it's like, hey, you want to do this thing? No, I don't. Bye.
There you go. We've had people say that where it's like, no, I don't blow people off. I'm very honest, and I tell them if I want to do it.
It's always hard. Like, I'll get asked to do some show like in Queens or something, or someplace where it's like, well, it's going to take me an hour to get there, and an hour back, or I'm going to spend $60 in cars.
So do you say if there's, let's say you get offered to do the show in Queens, and do you not respond, B, say no, I don't want to do that, or C, make up an excuse why you?
No, I never make. I don't. I feel like there's no need to make something up because you could just go, that's too far. Yeah. Or I don't think I can't do that.
Yeah.
Sorry. Thank you for asking me. And that way you maintain your honesty and also don't.
I've started to learn that too, where I was like, oh, I don't need to make up an excuse for why I can't do something. I can just
we get
say
too creative
no.
in our neurotic,
I know. There's some sort of reason.
Post-show at the venue and an audience member is like, hey, come out with us.
Or the person, one of the other, the people who works there or something like that. Or.
The thing is with, that doesn't happen a whole lot to me anyway, but it does happen sometimes, and they'll be like, hey, let me buy you a drink, man. And it's like, I'd love to have a free drink, but you're not buying me a drink. You're buying 45 minutes of annoying me.
Yeah.
Right? And there are some people, though, who will be like, I'll buy you a drink, and then they just go, thanks, man, great show, and they walk away like they truly just want to show a little extra appreciation.
That's nice.
But it's also, you do have
they're as socially awkward as we are. Yeah. They don't want to.
You often have the legit excuse of, I get free drinks here anyway, so you don't have to.
Yeah.
If it's at the place you just played.
I remember.
That's a good one.
I once did a college, I remember, and the kids were like, hey, we're going out to this bar. Like, do you want to come? And I was like, I remember I was hungry, and I thought maybe there'd be food at the bar. And so I was like, yeah, I'll come. And then I realized I was by myself with all these college kids, and they were like waiting for their drinks at the bar. And after about 2 minutes, I was like, I'm going to take off, and I just left. I was like, I don't want to be here, and there's no reason to like force myself to. Yeah.
Yeah, and also sometimes those things turn into like one person wants to eat, and then it's like, oh, you guys are going to eat? Oh, you're going to eat? Are you going to eat? Like, and then you're like, I don't want to fucking go out with like 11 strangers.
No. Yeah. It's easier to handle if you have one other comic there, like with you, and then you can sort of like be like, a team. But it's hard if it's just you and weird. Yeah. I wanted to mention just because you're very funny on Twitter and also Facebook. I want to say, do your tweets go to your Facebook or are you separate?
I sometimes move them over there, but I get a little. I don't know, for some reason the comments on Facebook seem harder to monitor, and like I don't want to have to.
Everyone. Well, it's because everyone can see the comments as opposed to Twitter. Like you have to like specifically go into the.
I don't know why Facebook. I mean, I'm sure because they
whatever they're doing is working.
But they think they profit off of kind of awfulness and cruelty in a way.
Also, Facebook has changed dramatically in that it's a much more visual medium now. Like it used to be, everybody was posting comments, one-liners or whatever, or just like, I'm doing X, Y, and Z right now. Now it's very much like Instagram Lite, where it's not where if you're putting up jokes or funny observations, those things get lost almost in the algorithm of
I see what you're saying.
Baby pictures and, wedding pictures.
I've been doing more cat pictures lately.
Yeah. Cat pictures are good anytime.
You're definitely the best at taking any news story or a thing and making it about you. There is no one better at that on social media. I want to say, that. Yeah, you have a great Alex, our producer, is in agreement. I mean, and it's so funny because. I get fooled every time where I'll start to read your tweet and I'll go like, oh, I bet Todd's gonna have a great joke about Ken Bone or whoever it is, and then by the end it's always about you, and so it's.
Are you talking about my latest Ken Bone tweet?
I don't know. Did you have a tweet? I just use that as your latest example, Ken Bone tweet?
I said I guess something like people are turning on Ken Bone the way an audience turns on me when I refuse to do a fourth encore.
So good.
Oh my God. Yeah, it's just
life came at Ken Bone fast.
There are no exceptions, right? You never do you ever make an exception to this rule where that's about you?
I mean, I'm sure. I don't. I mean, it's almost always a joke. I never make serious political.
No, because
I just don't think that's my thing, and I don't know that it does anything.
How have you honed your Twitter voice, Todd, over the years? Let's do another hour about that.
Whatever you've settled on is working for me.
Fantastic. So how can people find you on Twitter?
Todd Barry, TODDBARY, verified
easy.
account.
Yeah, there you go.
You got the blue check, buddy.
Only verified.
Todd Barry on Instagram, verified account.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
Todd Barry fan page on Facebook.
Okay.
You pick one of these or all of them, or none of them.
And then you have a book coming out in March.
Thank you for coming to Hattiesburg. Okay. I have a crowd work tour special. It's on sort of a documentary special on Netflix, where I just did all crowd work.
Is it on streaming? Is it streaming right now?
It's on Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
And it's I don't know if you've seen it. It's obvious you haven't.
No, I haven't.
No, but I knew about it.
That's good enough.
I've seen you do crowd work though.
You should watch this thing. It came out pretty good.
Okay.
7-city tour.
Right.
It's like a little tour doc, but it's mainly performing and doing crowd work, and it's called the Crowd Work Tour.
I'm going to watch it.
It's great.
This weekend.
Yeah. And what else do you want to know about my day?
There you go. I think we
Did
covered
we?
it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I didn't give you complete enough answers.
No, and then
you get great answers.
This will be exciting for people. I think this will be great. Thank you for
Thanks for having
coming.
me.
Yeah. And stay busy, everybody.
Stay busy.
When they call, I ain't answering. They only get my voicemail because I'm busy. Whenever I go with her, say I'm busy. And I'm going to hit you later because I'm busy with her.